Howdy, howdy, it is Junk. Sorry if I'm shocking you, because now you can hear my questionable voice. But Binkle's requested a walk through the hangar, so let's take a look at the robots in the hangar. I'll start right here with the Seraph, and what can you say about the Seraph other than I'm looking forward to not seeing so many of them? Somebody was like, well, you always complain about the Seraph. Yeah, well, I'm going to keep complaining about flying robots in a game that doesn't let you target above you. That's that's a problem. That's a design problem, and that's a problem where either make a better targeting system or stop making robots that are above you. You got very successful with robots that were on the ground. I'm not saying you have to go back there, but I am saying you should update the targeting system some more. Two repair amps and an anti-control. I'm sure if you've been watching, you've noticed I'm a fan of tanky bots, and the Seraph can be made to be built tanky. That is a nod to that. It's with the Seraph and its versatility. This is pre-nerf right now, so you've got choices in how you build it. You don't have to make tanky ones, but it is nice. There's something nice about a robot that doesn't have to be tanky, that turns out to be tanky, and you can sort of feel it when you'll have enemy robots come in for what they think is going to be an easy kill, and then they suddenly have to realize, no, this guy's going to be a problem. This is not going to just be an easy, get in his face with the punchers. Like, you'll take, if you're point blank with two punchers, like Seraph versus Seraph, you'll take a third of my life off, but that's only a third. And then this robot's going to be slightly stung and very angry. Pilot skills. And it's a tanky build for the pilot skills, right? There's Armor Expert, then Cautious Pilot, then Spy to get back the speed lost by Cautious Pilot. So a lot has been devoted to the durability of this Seraph. And you also see I don't have any of the new speed skills. I don't know. If I was running three Seraphs and I wanted one to be a dedicated beacon runner, by all means I would add that in. I don't want to run three Seraphs. Like I know where the Legend League is, and if I wanted to find it, like I know how to run three Seraphs and two Capris, right? I'm not confused, or in this case now it's going to be three Anglers and two Seraphs. I'm not confused about how to do that, and if that's what I wanted to do, that's what I would do. But I don't want to do that. I think it's boring. I think it's tedious. It takes a lot of the fun out of the game for me. I mean, if that's what you're into, by all means, like go out there, go stomp people all day long in those clans. But for me, I like the robots. I like to have fun with the variety of robots. So if I'm only going to run one Seraph, and occasionally I have run two because to try that Avalanche Seraph, but if I'm only going to run one, which is true most of the time, I want it to be more versatile than just a beacon runner, and I would rather have it do that off-tank Titan killer role. So I should also say I don't find the speed inadequate. I don't have a problem with the flight speed, especially with Victoria. I don't have a problem with the flight speed for the Seraph that I feel like I need to augment it. Like, what is the map? I guess yes, if you want to cross Canyon, go from the two farthest beacons in one flight, I suppose the speed skills will be important. But how many times are you on Canyon? Are you on Canyon where you want to do that? Next up, the Retro Revenant here. I've been calling it the Undead Revenant. When the Seraph hitbox was bugged, I was running a puncher and two flamethrowers because the flamethrowers the blaze was much more effective at hitting the busted hitbox of the Seraph because it just hit everything in front of you. Since the Seraph hitboxes got beefed up, I haven't felt the need to do that. I've had good luck with just pure shotguns. Two repair amps, one balanced unit. There's a community post about this where I talk about the concept of total effective health. I've gone back and forth between repair amps, like three repair amps or two repair amps, one balanced unit. Total effective health is basically the idea that if you took all of your defense points and you converted them to the same amount of health you would have by the damage reduction they cause, what combination of things would give you the most total effective health? And you get higher total effective health with the balanced unit in the third slot because of the diminishing returns on defense points. How much those returns diminish in this particular build really depends with the uptime of your drone, because this is Trixie Hope build, and take a look at this with Dodger, I think it's 3 or 4 seconds between activations of your repair amp to trigger your on-repair defense chips. When those are active, the amount of mitigation you get from a third repair amp is really minimal. Like, really, really, really minimal. During those 3 seconds, it's about a 10% mitigation difference. But that's a 10% mitigation difference for 3 seconds versus 9% greater health and damage from the balanced unit all the time. So, on paper at least, the balanced unit should be a better option in that third slot. Obviously, you could also make an argument for nuke amp, but it is still a tank. Like, I still do want skills that enhance my tankiness. You'll notice there's no anti-control here. There's no immunity amp. The only... Well, with the Revenant, you get 2 kind of anti-control things. One is its own ability, right? The ability, aggressive blink here, that'll give you some immunity to control effects. The other is there's a control resist chip in the drone, which we'll look at in a minute. The Ravana. Ugh. You know, I put in the Ravana because people were speculating it would be a good counter to the Angler. And that really hasn't been my experience. I have not done a good job timing the Transcendence to the Angler's shift. I'm sure there are people out there who are just counting it out every time. In my experience, there's usually a lot going on, and I don't necessarily have a clear view of the Angler all the time. So I know exactly the second it entered its shift, so I can know exactly when to time my coming out of it. I've had more luck with the Indra, with its longer phase period. So again, your mileage may vary. I haven't managed to make it terribly effective. 2 repair amps and an anti-control because it's of course it's me. It's got to be tanky. I have not changed any of the skills here in light of the new meta. This is the same Ravana I was running before the Angler existed. That may come to change, but obviously I could see Adamant Roadhog being swapped out. Well, I had the Ravana in as kind of a beacon runner, as like a last drop, where I needed something with good survivability, but also that could charge and take a bunch of beacons, so it's already a fast robot, and Adamant Roadhog, if you're dropping it because you're behind on the beacon bar, made sense. Don't know that it makes as much sense as an attempted Angler counter, but I don't know that I'm having any luck with it as an Angler counter anyway. I'm sure there are people out there who are doing amazing things with it, and this is just all a skill issue that I just don't have the ability yet. Maybe I'll develop it. Probably equally good chance I'll get bored and try something else. Speaking of which, the monster itself, the Angler, this thing is broken. This thing needs a nerf, and I don't even have the pilot. As you can see, I don't have the skin. I don't have the weapons, and by itself, it's pretty rare when a bot by itself can be so broken. But here we are. I shouldn't say it's rare. It happens every meta. But you know, the Seraph wasn't... the Decay isn't even the most dangerous weapon on Seraph, so they released Seraph and Decay at the same time, and everybody went to Punchers, because Punchers just work better. I've seen a lot of impressive things with the John Talon up close, but I don't have them. So, even without those, this is still a dangerous thing. I had been running 2 immune amps, and I just don't know if I was getting the benefit, so I put the nuke amp on instead of the second immune amp. We'll see if it works. I haven't actually run it yet, I don't think. Maybe I ran it once, but I don't think I've run this particular combination yet. And this is Trixie Hope. If you don't have the pilot, which I don't, I thought, well, what's the next best thing to do? Heck, maximize the healing. It's supposed to be sort of a tank, right? So, with the typical Dodger, to get the most healing, I just switched the drone to glider because someone reminded me that The electric shift is considered a phase by the game, so it triggers the glider's ability. We'll talk about that when we look at the drones in a second. And this is what I've built, and I tried to run it once and got blown up pretty quickly. But this is what I'm testing now. I want to try those explosive expert avalanche on the Orochi. Just last stand. I don't run a lot of last. I almost never run a last stand. If I run a last stand, that's my tacit acknowledgement that this robot is here for a good time, but not a long time. I don't think the Orochi is going to live past the first 60 seconds of the game, and that's fine. I want it to get in there, blow up whatever is standing on the beacon, and cap it. And then we can drop whatever, in beacon rush anyway. Ghost, I did change the skills around here because you have to make... Okay. I'm just reading these skills back and I realized I don't have Master Gunsmith, which gives you a bigger percentage increase than the Gunsmith Avalanche. So apparently I'm going to have to go back and amend that before I run this again. Oops. A solvable problem. I mean, I guess I could switch Destroyer for Master Gunsmith. That might make more sense, because I don't think the Orochi ability damage, because they nerfed it anyways, I don't think the Viper Sting is gonna be where this thing shines, so maybe I'm better off switching out Destroyer. Yeah, we'll do that, probably. I don't know how it's gonna work. I'm excited. I think the explosive expert ability has been great for the game, because it's yet another way to make shields less impressive, and I would like it if they changed the shields on robots with built-in shields, like the Ares, to make it so that the rockets don't reach inside the Ares shield, and the rockets don't reach inside... Well, actually, I'm okay blowing up the Mars, but the older robots... Mars is annoying. To hell with Mars. And I guess while we're here, we should look at Indra. It's an Indra. What can I tell you? Yeah, it's just, it is what it is. How useful is damage controller? I don't know. But I do run the Northlight, so it's not useful. I guess, let's look at drones, then we can look at the other hangars. There's nothing interesting really in there right now, but the drones, these two Nebulas, are identical, because I often have the Fenrir in the lineup. I just don't right now, because with the Angler it was getting to be a little extra tank heavy even for me. But the Fenrir also uses the same mod setup as the Revenant, so there's no anti-control on it, hence anti-control here. We can look at the two Paralysis. This first Paralysis is usually what I run with Behemoths, because Behemoths do so much damage that those undealt damage chips don't really have a lot of downtime. And the second one is what I'll be running with the Orochi, the on-repair unit damage. I do have the chips for one on freeze immune, if I want to put the immune amp on something, but it's going to have to be a Behemoth, because everything else dies too fast. This is my limited experience. I love how when you leave the drone thing, it kicks you to the hangar sometimes. I don't know if you can hear the cops, but there's a lot of sirens out here. So the joys of living in the modern urban environment. The glider. This is just because, as I was saying, somebody reminded me that the electric shift counts as a phase for glider purposes. I built one phase shift fix chip for that, and then I started looking at the glider, and I'm thinking, okay, well, that chip gives me 18%, right? And the glider ability itself gives me 22%. So there's getting a 40% heal coming out of phase. Do I really want a second after phase shift chip, or am I better off with something different? So right now it's an on mild damage fix. I'll see how that works. I'll see how I feel about my health coming out, but I've got a lot of healing on this. I've got the Trixie Hope pilot to begin with, so we're getting more healing out of that. I've got the Northlight, and I'm getting 40% coming out of phase shift. I just don't know that I need another 18% out of phase shift, or that's better than the on mild damage fix. So we'll see how that actually plays out. The last two drones, the whiteout, I put the whiteout in to go with the Ravana because I was thinking, okay, if I'm trying to make life difficult for the angler, the EMP will make life more difficult for the angler. But since it hasn't necessarily been super effective, I don't know what the future of that slot's going to be. I don't know what the future of that robot's going to be. I'm going to keep trying it because it is still a Ravana. Like it's not bad to run a Ravana. So it's not like I'm not I'm not mad at the Ravana. I'm frustrated at my inability to make it work as an angler counter. It's great at everything else. So maybe I'll just stop dropping it for that and drop something else and go do different stuff with the Ravana because it is a fun robot. And then the Patron. I had been running two Patrons to try to deal with the angler blindness, and it just didn't help enough. It's like, yeah, but the angler, you've slightly delayed the angler hurting you, but when it goes back into its ability, it doesn't need to see you to hurt you. So you've stopped it from shooting you while it was out of phase shift. It's just going to kill you more slowly, and you're not going to kill it any faster because you're still blind. But I still run one because this is typically what I'll run with a Seraph. Because the Seraph is typically what I'm going to run when we've got Titans shooting us, with blinding weapons. Get the Seraph out there and get the Seraph on the job. And mothership-wise, the Northlight is just the Northlight. It's what I've been running right now. And I don't have the durability extender yet because the current event is Clown Shoes. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's bad when an event that is rigged and unfair manages to sink below your minimal expectations. It's like you're not even abusing me slowly enough anymore. So the other hangars, just to see what's in them, I filled them with Cossacks at some point because I wanted to sell weapons before the silver nerf. Thanks for that, Pixonic. You can see the old Sharinga is back there. Yeah, I cleaned that out. The Nodens, just random stuff on it. And I never actually ran this. But it's leveled for whatever reason. The Destrier. This will happen. Probably not with the aphids, because the aphids are just... I hate to say anything too controversial, but I don't think the aphids are going to work in the meta. So still working on this. This is a work in progress, but this is going to happen. I will have my Destrier kill, alright? I got my Golem kill, I got my Boa kill, got my Cossack kill, I got my Shoots kill. I'm getting my Destrier kill. It's going to happen. Eldritch Khepri, with the autopilot. I guess I had the Magnums on this one. I've got the two actual pilots leveled because I've got another Eldritch Mark III Khepri, and then I've got a standard Mark III Khepri, and then there's one that's like Mark 5 or like 2.5 that I leveled, and then stopped when the Eldritch came out. But that must have been the one with the Magnums on it. I guess we'll see what happens when the new weapons hit the live server. The Mars, I got the new pilot. I haven't tried it, but I don't think durability or survivability is the problem on the Mars. So adding more survivability skills. I understand the value of maximizing what the Mars is good at, but I much more often feel like I'm not killing things fast enough than I am feeling like I wish I had more survivability. So that's me. And the Hades, like I said, I hope they make the bots with built-in shields have bigger shield bubbles just so that the explosives expert skill doesn't reach them, and then make them viable again, right? Or like get closer to making them viable again. Give me a reason to run a Hades. That's what I'm saying. It's fun when it lives, but there's so many weather chickens in the game, Sirens and Harpies, it doesn't live long enough to have any fun with it most of the time. The last hangar, Skyros. Nothing special there other than I can say it's fun with an armadillo drone because you can get really, really, really stupidly durable. I don't know. See, this... I don't know if I won it or bought it or what, but this Arachnid Invader is sitting here with the pilot. I don't know why it's got a pilot. I've got a Mark III Invader. The Wayland. I only ran like 2 games with this thing, and I'm going to run another one. I'm going to have to either pick a different skill or level another Devastator, because I think I only have 2, and I've got one on the Angler now. And of course, the most powerful bot in the meta. In fact, it's not in the meta, it is the meta. The Cossack. It's very tempting to Mark III this thing right now and just, make a clip of just that, post it on the Reddit, and watch people, scream. Because the thing of it is, if you, we all know, and we knew when they announced it, the tokens were just going to be another thing that they could sell back to you, so that the people who are going to pay, like myself, are going to get the tokens they want. It's not like they're not going to get them. So, I don't know. I think the Mark III tokens are probably, next to the consistent refusal to even attempt to fix hacking, the Mark III tokens are the most anti-consumer thing Pixonic has done in years. And that's saying something, because the bingo board was astonishingly anti-consumer. The silver nerf, incredibly anti-consumer. But the Mark III token takes it to a new level. It takes away something you could do and then sells it back to you. That's terrible. That's disrespectful and a sign of people who do not care about you. So I'm upset about that. Even though I know that as a practical matter, it's really not going to be that big of an issue for me. It's not the point. It's the principle of the thing. It's the idea that we can't even reach a point of equilibrium in this toxic relationship because developers are working overtime to find new ways to make it terrible. And of course, the most important, the strongest robot in the game's pilot skills. Ghost is the one that makes it really ridiculous. Ghost is the one that makes it kind of, I don't want to say viable, right? Because that would be giving it too much credit. But the speed skills on the Cossack, it's already fast. And when you load it up with the other speed skills, it can get broken fast. Of course, since you have under 1,000 health, under 100,000 health, it's not going to be that hard to actually kill you anyway. But yeah, I guess the 2 things that we need to fix in this game, first of all, number 1, most importantly, add module slots to the Cossack. And then 2, maybe the hackers. Maybe the hackers, if we have time. Oh, I forgot about the Heimdall back here hanging out. I built it, and I think I tried to run it in like a game or 2. I haven't really given it the time. Maybe I should do a Heimdall video or something. Let me know if I should do a Heimdall video, because I don't know. I like the idea of the Heimdall. I like Tyr. I ran Tyr recently. But I don't know. It's tough to go out of your way when you've got a robot that you know is scary, because when you see one, it readjusts your priorities. And it's hard to switch from that to a robot that, when you see it on the battlefield, you just go back to what you were doing. I legit ignore Heimdall. Like, the only time I don't ignore Heimdall is when I go to kill it, because it's soft and it's there and I want the kill. That's tough. And like, in some ways, I feel less threatened running a Cossack than I do running a Heimdall. Because at least, like, the expectations are low for the Cossack. If they kill you, they've proven nothing, and if you kill them, it's the Super Bowl. Whereas the Heimdall is just like, it tells me that you knew you had a Titan slot, and you put this in it. Although actually I feel that way about the Minos too, which now I'm leveling the Minos. Almost there. Just because people keep telling me to try the Minos. And I will try it. I will. I'm going to finish it. But, I don't know, AD Gaming released his list of Titans, and he put the Minos at number 2. The only way Minos is number 2 on a list of Titans is if it's a list of Titans with red paint jobs, and then it's number 2. Like, the idea, because he puts Indra at number 1, the idea that there's ever a situation, listen, the only situation where the Minos is going to be superior to a luchador is in beacon running, in which case the Minos is just staying away from the luchador. Is just trying to get away from the luchador. There's no other situation that I can think of where, like, give him similar weapons, you wouldn't rather be in the luchador when you're standing next to each other. So I guess if you want to make your Titan your beacon runner, then by all means the Minos is better than the luchador. But why are you running beacons in your Titan? That's an odd choice. That's an odd choice. So I don't know what I don't know what he's on, but I haven't actually run it. So it sounds crazy to me, but I'm going to have to actually run it to tell him he's actually crazy. So anyway, that's my hangar. If by some miracle you made it to the end of this video and you're a human, thank you. If you're a dog or a cat left home alone by your owner, you are a very good puppy or kitty. And I am sure you're going to get lots of pets when your parents come home.